Hello, everybody, and I am here with my dear friend Andrea Brundage, who owns the business, The Professional Organizer. And Andrea and I were just at an estate sale, just about a block away. Here she was coming in. We were going to have our regular monthly mastermind, and then she says, "Did you know there's a big estate sale?" And so we decided to go.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we did, not because of the finds that we found, because actually we came back with books, which was really nothing compared to what they were selling there. But it was more of our discovery of just being at this estate sale. So, Andrea, yeah, go ahead and lean in and tell them what you found as you were walking, very contemplative of as you looked at all the stuff that you saw. What was revealed to you?
So it's not uncommon for me to walk into homes as a professional organizer and see a lot of things. It's a little different when there's a little backstory that you can put the pieces together. And this was obviously an elderly person. In walking through the house, you realize it's a woman, probably been single for a long time, maybe probably lost a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
But what's so striking is the amount of things that this woman had accumulated. And I know you had been in the house prior to her being placed in independent living, and there were just piles and piles of things everywhere. And the estate sale company has come in and done a nice job of organizing it and putting things in places so that people will buy them. But what's really striking to me is one, a life well lived, and how important that is. And that was evidenced in the things that she had. Also, recognizing that all of those things that were ultimately important to her now are not, or probably not. So she's suffering from dementia, we found out. And so all those things that she's been carrying around and tripping over, and people have probably been worried about her safety in this home because of the amount of things that she had. And many are treasures, and it was wonderful. You and I actually came away with a couple of things, and I'm so happy to have them, and happy that she was able, although she doesn't know it, to pass them on to us. But
Right.
really putting pieces together of a life well lived. You could tell that she was an avid traveler. She loved the Orient. She had a lot of things from the Orient that she'd collected. She loved beautiful artwork. She loved crystal. It was a house full of love, but also a house full of too much stuff.
Wow. And it was so fascinating to me after coming back how you got to collect all that, to gather all those facts from just walking around, right, looking at her stuff. And you approached it much more gently than me just, going in there like I was shopping for something and, oh, can't find it, so then I leave. But you actually came up with an incredible find, very meaningful for $1.50. Oh my gosh, who does that? But and because it was so small, it's probably easily overlooked. But because you were contemplative the whole time, I'm sure you thought, you opened up the box, right, and actually looked into it. But let's go ahead and share with folks what you
So,
found.
so this little box was in with the kitchen stuff, and as I opened it, I see these little apples, and I realized that these are actually place card holders. And I love to use place card holders, but this is what got my attention. You see these? These are names of people that have sat across the dinner table from this lady. And she found it important enough to keep these in the box with this cute little apple. And as I laid these out, once I got home with them, I laid them out and looked at it. And I think, again, putting pieces of the puzzle together, I think she had people fill out their own name card because the handwritings on these are so incredibly different. I think Irene and Willard probably were written at the same time by the same person.
Right.
But here's Pat. I don't know if you can see that, but here's Rita. You know, these are people that she shared bread with. And these are people that were in her presence, and it was important enough for her to tuck these into this cute little box with these little
Beautiful.
apples.
And they're
Right.
heavy. I mean, these are beautiful. They're not light. They're not plastic. They're silver plated.
Yeah,
So
they're silver plated, and they're just really fun. But just, again, just thinking about your life and what do you do to make ordinary days extraordinary. Can you sit at the dinner table with tons of people and never put one out? Sure. Is it going to be a good dinner? Absolutely. But how fun is this? And it was important, I think, for her to remember who she shared dinner with because she kept those cards.
But then it's also sad because you found them, right? And this is something so beautiful that it should have been kept, don't you think? I mean, passed down as an heirloom in a sense?
I don't know. What I do know is what I think I know is that it was important to the person who owned them. But at this stage in her life, there's no room for any of this anymore. There's no room. In fact, we ran across family photographs of her, and I ran across an envelope where she'd done some genealogy work, and it's all out there at an estate sale. So if we can just maybe put out a little encouragement that if you keep everything, nothing matters. And this is a case in point where she had so much stuff that very possibly important things were put out for sale that perhaps the family might have wanted if they hadn't been so overwhelmed with the sheer amount of stuff.
So what's the lesson or the takeaway that you can encourage people after having come out of this estate sale? And like you said, there was so much stuff, but then there was treasures like this. What would you say to people, like right now, what they can do to prepare?
Well, it's important to know what station you're at, and I talk about that a lot in my talks. We're pulling up to a train station. Where are we, and what do we need going forward? So if we're not entertaining anymore, we probably don't need name cards. We probably don't need 100 crystal glasses. We don't need those things anymore. Maybe at one time we did. We did some incredible, fun, entertaining. But where are you right now, and what do you need going forward?
And to take that stuff, Andrea, our accumulation, and do what with it?
Pass it on. Get it into the hands of the people who are at that station that you once were at, but are not there anymore. Yeah.
Such great advice, because that way it prevents some of the treasures from being just out there. When probably they shouldn't be. But if we do the work now, then we can prepare so that something like that doesn't happen.
Right. One of the things that happens is when I retire, when this, when that, then I'm going to do this. So we're always doing this one day thing, one day in the future, one day in the future. Today's the day that we can make small steps in our lives to just evaluate where we are and what we need going forward and release the things that have already served us and can go serve someone else better.
And it just takes the weight off. I mean, when we don't have all our stuff like right there, and it's stacking, and there's no use in it when all it does is just weigh us down anyway. So it's just good for the mind.
It is. And it also, keeping that stuff reminds us of what we don't do and can't have any longer. So this woman was obviously an avid traveler. She probably got too old to travel. And so having all these reminders of the things that she used to do may not have been as beneficial as we would like to think. And sadly, the families get overwhelmed and they have to hire in a company to come manage these things because it's overwhelming. So do yourself and your heirs a favor by getting rid of things in a timely manner.
It's true. You're doing your heirs a favor by
Absolutely.
doing that as well.
You know, one of my talks is called "An Organized Estate is the Gift You Give to Others," and I stand by that.
That's awesome. Andrea, also, I know you have a couple of books and journals, so let everybody know where they can find that. It's on Amazon.
Amazon, also my website. The book is hello. Simplify Your Life. 8 Simple Principles to Turn Your Chaos into Calm. You can go to my website, professionalorganizeraz.com, and go to the shop page, or you can just do a search on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple Books.
Awesome.
Yes, Kindle also available.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And we did come up with some pretty good finds. I got books, and you got books, and then this beautiful treasure. So
yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
You guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye.